Good afternoon, folks. Ari here from Direct Auto Outlet in Fair Oaks, California. I'm going to take you along with a tour with me on our 1,500-mile review and also test drive with our 2022 Ford Maverick Lariat First Edition. We'll go over lots of things that we like and lots of things that we don't like during the test drive. We'll talk about it during that time and give you my opinion, my objective opinion of what I think about this truck, being a car guy and a dealer. And also kind of give you guys a preview on how it feels to drive and how it performs. At the end of this video, we will be giving you a glance at what the MPG on this total loop was. This loop will take us about 9 to 10 miles, and it'll give you an idea of what you can expect. We are doing a more in-depth MPG loop as well, that we are taking 3 to 4 full tanks of fuel and giving you a comparison on what your average is, but we are still comprising that data. We are on our third full tank of fuel currently. And let's get started. First and foremost, kind of going to give you an idea of what went through our minds when we purchased this truck. We had a minivan that we were using to get parts and to take cargo around, and then we also had a 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that we were using as well. I was using that to commute with, go city to city, conduct personal and business errands, go to auctions, and needed something comfortable and fuel efficient to drive that wouldn't cost me an arm and a leg. Both of those vehicles I sold and consolidated it into this particular vehicle. We ordered this Maverick at the end of last June and waited about 9 months for it to be ready. There's not many items on here that I don't like. Most of the items on this vehicle I do quite enjoy. Do want to mention a couple things that I don't like first. First and foremost, on the fit and finish of the vehicle, there are a couple small spots that probably nobody else would even notice. It looks like as the paint was drying in the factory, some dirt or debris hit the side of the truck. A couple little areas where you can see a little bit of imperfection in the paint. Also, one thing that my wife notices that doesn't really bother me a whole lot, but she noticed, was the smart key technology that allows you just to be able to put your hands on the door handle to be able to lock and unlock while maintaining the keys in your pocket. Those sensors on those door handles are only on the front left and front right side door, so only the driver and passenger do get that. You don't have that for the rear door, so if you wanted to get to the rear doors or the bed of the truck, you would have to either use your key fob or touch the driver or passenger door first to have all of them be unlocked so you could access those other doors. Now, I am not the typical Ford Maverick buyer. When this vehicle was first introduced by Ford, it was intended to be for a younger demographic of buyer, folks that are looking for maybe a typical Honda Civic buyer or Toyota Corolla buyer, maybe a Prius buyer. Seeing as this vehicle does fall into the same price bracket, or oftentimes even below the price bracket of many of those vehicles, and it being a hybrid and so fuel efficient, it does appeal to truck and non-truck people. Now, I personally am a truck person. However, all of my trucks have been either 3/4 tons or 1-ton trucks. I'm a big diesel truck fan. I currently have a Ford diesel and I have a GMC diesel. I also had a Ram diesel that I no longer have. I sold it. I had bought brand new. I owned a 14 Ram 3500 dually with a 6-speed manual transmission that I had ordered brand new from Ram. No longer have that truck, but just to give you kind of an idea, I am used to larger vehicles and larger trucks. As a matter of fact, the only truck that I own that is not a full-size truck is my Toyota Tacoma. I have a 2016 Toyota Tacoma that I had brought brand new back in January of 2016, and I hate to make this a dump on Toyota Tacoma Day again. I had spoken a little bit negatively about it yesterday in a different review, where I kind of told folks that I think you could get a lot more for your money versus buying a Toyota Tacoma. And, you know, part of what was disappointing for me in the Tacoma was seeing as many of these diesel trucks that I am used to actually do get 15 or 16 miles to the gallon if you're, you know, driving them regularly and you're not towing a heavy trailer behind you. One thing that I didn't love about the Toyota Tacoma is fuel economy was quite comparable to a you know, a full-size diesel truck. I was getting 15 to 16 miles to the gallon then as well, and yet the size on the vehicle was lacking. Rear seat area was small, couldn't get yourself too comfortable back there when you wanted to use the bed. You also found that you know, you couldn't get a ton of stuff back there as well, and also you really had a tough time getting comfortable inside the truck. It felt like the truck was just sitting, the seat was just sitting on the floor, and it didn't have a lot of thigh support as well, which was, you know, probably one of my biggest complaints about the vehicle. Judging by how much I love this vehicle, you would know that, you know, a lot of the problems I had with the Tacoma I don't experience with this one. First and foremost, for what the Tacoma cost, I didn't love that it didn't come with rear disc brakes. Also, the ride and the comfort of the Tacoma wasn't quite as good as the Maverick. Now, many of you will say that, okay, well, you know, the Maverick is a unibody frame vehicle and the Tacoma is still a frame on chassis vehicle, and that is the case. You can't expect that to be quite as smooth as this, but you know, for a lot less money you have a lot more comfort and a lot more economy in this vehicle. The vehicle is quite smooth. It's quite impressive how much sound deadening you actually do have in here for it being such an inexpensive vehicle. And I do find that I could drive this all day long and be very comfortable in it. There's a lot of goodies that come with the Lariat trim that, you know, I didn't really know that I needed until I had it. The Ford Copilot 360, the active systems that it has that helps you steer, speeds up for you, slows down for you, brakes for you, is kind of nice. If you never had those options before in a vehicle, you know, you may think to yourself, you know, all I need is for a car that drives. I don't want the car to drive me, I want to drive it. But a lot of these safety options can get you out of a bind. They're quite nice to have. Also love the automatic high beams that this vehicle has as well. I do apologize that this test drive is in such a period of time where there is so much traffic, but did want to bring you a 1,500 mile review of the truck as it struck 1,500 miles. As you can see, we have 1,509 miles on the truck today. Is quite smooth. Now, both my wife and I drive this truck, and our driving habits are a little bit different. I'm a little bit more of a conservative driver most of the time. I accelerate a little bit on the slower side and brake a little bit on the slower side. My wife is a little bit more of an aggressive driver, which is why the MPG review we will do in the near future will be so helpful for those of you who want some real world data. We did find some inconsistencies which may require us to go to a 4th and 5th tank in order to be able to give you that data. We do want to bring you accurate information, and there was some concerning inconsistencies that I found that I am currently researching that I will let you know a little bit more about in future videos. But at the end of this video, we will kind of see what MPGs we got on this particular loop itself. One thing that I do want to point out is you see on your left instrument cluster there where you see what would have been your tachometer, where the needle is right now between the 0 and the first line. When you keep your vehicle in that position, you are actually running on all electric. So for those of you want to maximize on your fuel economy in stop and go traffic, if you just kind of curb your enthusiasm a little bit on that throttle pedal, you can really get much better fuel economy. Speaking of fuel economy, we have 25 miles till empty. Now this is our third tank of fuel, our third full tank of fuel, and judging by the miles on the truck at 1,510 currently, you can kind of get an idea of what kind of fuel economy we are actually getting on this truck. This truck has a 13.8 fuel tank, 13.8 gallon fuel tank, and 3 full tanks of fuel over 1,500 miles. We are averaging over 500 miles per tank. That is quite impressive. This is kind of a have your cake and eat it too kind of vehicle. You get all the fuel economy, comfort, luxury options, as well as creature comfort and safety options in a very affordable package. Probably my biggest complaint on this vehicle is, why did I not order 2 of them? My wife and I constantly fight about who's going to be able to drive it that day. I'm just kidding, it's not much of a fight, but we really do both enjoy driving it. We own lots of vehicles between us, as you can imagine, being in the business, and many of our vehicles we absolutely love and adore, but after driving them for an hour or two, we're ready to throw in the towel. It's not really the case with this vehicle. I feel like I could drive this vehicle all day and be comfortable. One thing that I will mention that I noticed on this vehicle is that the regenerative braking system and the electric motor is a little bit louder than most other vehicles. Being a dealer, we have driven and sold hundreds, maybe thousands of hybrids in our past, and most of which have been a lot quieter at lower speeds. You don't really notice it too much inside the vehicle. However, you do notice it is a little bit louder on the regenerative braking, a little bit louder on the electric motor, especially at slower speeds, coming to a stop at around 5 miles per hour. You do hear a little bit of that electric hum. For those of you who have also not been used to driving a hybrid, the regenerative braking does cause the brake pedal to also feel a little bit different, and it can feel a little bit touchy if you're not used to it, especially as you're coming to a full stop. Oftentimes you'll notice that you'll come to a little bit of a jerkier stop than what you're used to, and it's just because of the regenerative braking. The feel of it is going to be a little bit different. Plenty of low-end torque on the truck. It's very responsive. Feels like there's plenty of power as compared to the older Ford Escape hybrids, which we've sold lots of. They don't feel like they lack any power. There's plenty of get up and go, plenty of power. And even though I am taking it a little bit easy because we are still during the break-in process of the truck, I don't find that I need any more power or desire any more power in the vehicle. I would have liked to see an all-wheel drive option available with the hybrid, but for me it's not too big of a deal. I own many 4x4 and all-wheel drive vehicles, so if I ever have a need for it, it's not difficult for me to get. Would have been nice to have in the snow and occasionally going up to the mountains, but not necessary. We're quite happy with the way it is. We'll go ahead and make a right over here and skip some of the traffic. We are coming up on 4 p.m. going towards the freeway, probably not the smartest idea. We'll go ahead and head back. But yeah, I feel like I could drive this vehicle all day long. Very comfortable, very smooth. The seats in it are very comfortable. There is sufficient side bolster support to keep you snug in your seat. And you have all the benefits of a typical hybrid vehicle with the added benefits of a pickup truck. This is definitely a vehicle that a car enthusiast or a truck guy could actually also appreciate. And I could not be happier. Do leave your comments in the comment section. Let us know what kind of content you would like to see going forward. We are planning on doing a review of the infotainment system as well, going through that. Also doing at the same time a review of the instrument cluster and all the options and the adjustments you can make there. But, you know, kind of nice. It's an economy style vehicle that gives you dual zone climate control. You have heated seats, heated steering wheel. You have automatic climate control. As you can see in the twists and turns, you feel very stable and confident in this vehicle. You don't feel like you need to slam on your brakes, unlike many other vehicles that I won't name, such as my Tacoma. It does not feel like it's top heavy. It doesn't shift on these twists and turns. It's quite comfortable and smooth throughout all speeds. It just invokes additional confidence in the driver, which is really nice. I really don't know how Ford did it, and they made a really well-rounded vehicle. Now, this particular vehicle is made in Mexico, alongside with the Ford Bronco Sport. So, you know, in the past, historically speaking, some of our best stuff has not come out of Mexico, but you know, we'll see. Long-term quality, we'll see how that is. Fit and finish of the vehicle, as far as how the lines go and how everything lines up, and the quality of paint seems pretty good. A couple of imperfections that I mentioned. It looks like human error or carelessness during the manufacturing process. I don't anticipate that be an ongoing problem with many of the other units. But yeah, this is a vehicle, as you can see, in the twisty and turning roads, it's quite comfortable. And it just kind of leaves you wanting to go faster and faster. You don't feel like you need to slow down. We're going 40, 50, 45, 50 miles per hour. And very confident. What you're hearing back there is my water bottle with the ice swooshing around in it. The car itself is very quiet. Which reminds me, passing by that Amazon truck. This truck does make a very funny sound when you put it in reverse. It reminds me of an Amazon truck. Once we get back to the lot, I'll demonstrate that for you, but it kind of beeps at you, warning folks behind you of somebody that's in reverse and to be cautious, but it sounds almost like the Amazon truck, and it's a little funny. I wish you could turn that off. I'm sure somewhere in the future they'll come out with some kind of software where you can turn that off. It is a little annoying, but hey, it's safety and safety first, right? As we come up to a stop at the next stop sign, I do want you to try to pay attention to see if you can hear that low pitch electric sound that I'm talking about coming from the hybrid powertrain, the regenerative braking. It is a little bit louder than what you're used to. I will not talk during this stop and see if you can hear it. Let me know if you can hear that in the comments. It is a little bit louder than what you're used to, and the reason I know that that's normal is it is really just the same sound I hear from every hybrid vehicle. It's just a little bit more pronounced than this one. But yeah, we like this vehicle a lot. We feel fortunate to have it. These days, anytime when you can get your hands on on something that's in demand, you feel lucky to have it. The ordering banks for this truck are going to be opening back up this summer, but it's probably, depending on how you configure your truck, it's probably going to be several months until you see it, and obviously they're all going to be 2023 models when you do. But yeah, I think this truck is going to be making a big splash in the market, and I think that other manufacturers are going to be producing similar vehicles to this. I wouldn't be surprised if GM and Ram, Chrysler, Dodge come out with something similar to it. But you know, we've been big Ford fans, and we feel that the quality of this one and the price point of this one is proper. Bear with us just a few more moments, folks. We are just about making our way back, where we will reveal what we got MPG wise out of this trip. Do want to point out that your gear shifter is this round knob over here. It's kind of funny. You put it in park and it continues turning. You put it in drive and it continues turning. Don't really know how I feel about that one way or another. Guess it doesn't really bother me. You do also have different drive modes available over here, where you can put it in eco, Normal mode, tow haul mode, slippery, eco, sport, or normal, where we have it now. And you also have your electronic parking brake here, which, you know, works great. I'm not a huge fan of the electric parking brake, but I'm just kind of a little bit old school. 2 cup holders over here, your wireless phone charger down there, and this pad here is removable, so to take it out and wash it is quite easy to do. You have the USB port over here and the mini USB right on top, and then you also have your power sliding rear window there. I do love the fact that this vehicle still has conventional rotary buttons for your volume and for your tuner, and also for many of your track controls, both on the steering wheel and on the unit itself. One of my biggest gripes on the Ford Fusion Hybrid Energy was that a lot of the options on the vehicle, you had to access your infotainment system, and it took many strokes to be able to get to where you needed to go. It's kind of distracting when you're trying to operate a car. Not really the case here. Leather wrap steering wheel is very comfortable with humps at 10 and 2 o'clock. Very easy vehicle to operate. Headrests on the vehicle have been removed to give me additional visibility in the rear. And I will also demonstrate the backup camera here as well. Backup camera does have trajectory, which is kind of nice. There's my F350 that I came to work with, Harley Davidson edition. Alright, through your backup camera, you do have trajectory, so you can get a visible sight of where your vehicle will be going. Pop it back into drive. Alright. Ready for that MPG, folks? Pop it into drive here, and as we shut off the vehicle, it'll let us know what we got on this trip. 42.8 miles per gallon, not bad. This was only a 7.4 mile loop, and out of those 7.4 miles, we achieved 4.2 miles in all electric. 21 minutes of driving, and very little fuel used. Very economical car, folks. This vehicle is something that far exceeded my hopes and expectations, and I'm sure it will yours as well. As always, do want to thank you for taking your time and joining us, and we certainly do welcome all of your comments. If you'd like to see any additional specific content, please do leave that in the comment section. Please also be sure to subscribe so you get all of our future videos, and hit the bell icon to be notified of all of our future content. Do want to take this opportunity to thank you once again, and we certainly do hope to see every one of you down here at the lot. Thank you and have a great day.